The term narcissist is commonly used, and it is primarily used as a pejorative. We typically define someone as being extremely self-important, speaking from above, and selfish. Is this merely a friend, ex-boyfriend, wife, or someone who is a little too self-important and acts as though the world revolves around them, or do they have a serious mental illness? We need to make some notes for this because we are dealing with a person who has narcissistic personality disorder. When we say narcissist, we mean someone who is overly self-centered, as opposed to your friend, who is displaying far more significant symptoms. Furthermore, understanding them from the outside can be difficult. Because narcissistic persons can have or wish to have very strong appearances, but in reality, their self-esteem and character may not have formed, and their self-respect may be quite low. You may be familiar with the story of Echo, a beautiful peri who meets Narcissus and falls in love with him, but Narcissus does not return her love and flees. Echo is devastated, and her voice becomes an echo that echoes in the mountains, hence the name Echo. As a result, the gods are furious with Narcissus and cast him into a pool of water, where he admires his own image, which leads to his death, and his body transforms into a flower known today as Nargis. The essential point here is that narcissists appreciate their reflection in the eyes of others rather than themselves. Narcissists are like this because they despise themselves and their feelings of self-hatred, which they can't even admit to themselves. Instead, they hide behind masks, projecting their self-hatred onto others. They severely criticize people for things that are difficult for them to achieve because they are constantly seeking validation and acceptance, yet they struggle to assign value to things they approve of or enjoy. So, how do we identify someone who has narcissistic personality disorder? People with narcissistic personality disorder frequently exhibit traits such as a predisposition to regard oneself as superior to others and exaggerate their successes or talents. They crave boundless power, success, beauty, or love. They believe they are special and unique, and that only other special and unique people can understand them, therefore they tend to associate with groups of like-minded individuals. They may have no or strained interactions with people they regard as average. They want adoration and special attention, and they envy people who have it better than them, believing that others envy them. These behaviors are commonly seen as arrogant or haughty, but an overt or exhibitionist narcissist is easy to identify. However, there are covert or closet narcissists who are the polar opposite and are introverted, often exhibiting depression symptoms. They devote all of their time and energy to being the person they want to be, and if they fail, they fall into a deep despair cycle. In addition to these two types, malignant narcissists can exhibit antisocial personality traits and become aggressively retaliatory if their image is challenged by criticism or failure to get what they desire. It's crucial to remember that these people did not choose to be this way, and they frequently have a history of poor, neglectful, or abusive parenting. To comprehend them, we must go deeper into their past and life stories. Some study associates narcissistic personality disorder with excessive tolerance and praise from parents, whereas other research associates it with an overly harsh and critical parenting style. However, one study found that hereditary factors played a role in 60% of cases of narcissistic personality disorder. Psychoanalyst Heinz Kohut, on the other hand, noticed common symptoms in narcissistic patients, such as feelings of alienation, emptiness, and weakness, as well as a sense of great meaninglessness. As previously stated, there is no positive self-perception supporting a healthy personality beneath the narcissistic masks. Narcissists are unaware of the distinction between themselves and others, and they oscillate between sentiments of self-elevation and inferiority, resulting in an idealized and exhibitionist self-image and a devalued self-image. When a devalued self-image emerges, they idealize it in others to avoid feeling ashamed. To cope with their guilt, they project their worthless self-image onto others, enclosing themselves in a cocoon. In other words, the depth of the melancholy and humiliation is proportional to these two sensations, shame and superiority. They can exaggerate emotions of superiority the more they feel ashamed and unhappy with themselves. Many people oscillate between these two positions, portraying narcissists as superior and worthless, in a balanced manner, that is, suppressing the feeling of shame by suppressing pride and humiliation, jealousy, introversion, denial and feelings in an unconscious way, aggression and anger, blaming others for their own mistakes or actions, especially the self-pity dependence behavior displayed by hidden narcissists such as using these weapons to control others. But what if you have a narcissist in your life, family, or environment? How should you handle your connections, how should you behave, and how can you identify them? You should be aware that these people may have completely different personalities when they are alone at home and when they reveal them to others. Even if they appear to be good on the outside, they may behave terribly while alone with their spouse or lover. They will always want to be complimented for their behavior in a relationship because they are very sensitive to feeling inferior and ashamed, and they will continually make demands and be critical to gain the special information they desire. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, your relationship will be shaped around them because they perceive their relationships as extensions of themselves. Furthermore, many narcissists are perfectionists who would never think that anything done by others is correct and will not appreciate it. The person in their life must unconditionally meet all of their requirements, such as adoration, service, affection, or money. People with narcissistic personality disorder would never accept no for an answer and expect their needs to be understood and met without even mentioning it. They frequently use manipulation and, when offered anything, make the person in front of them feel guilty. According to this viewpoint, it is impossible to please a person with narcissistic personality disorder no matter what you do. You will find a flaw in their efforts, and when they praise or commend, they do so half-heartedly. They are continuously in a state of inadequacy and believe that you can always do more. The explanation for this is actually quite simple. They unknowingly make you experience what they experienced in their families, which is an imbalanced, excessive, or never complimented home setting. Narcissists need to be acknowledged and complimented by others after growing up with no boundaries. As a result, those in narcissists' lives are continually in doubt, not knowing whether their behavior is genuine or a ruse. They are compelled to live on edge because of the hostility, accusations, and slanders they express in seemingly trivial and unanticipated ways. They may also neglect their own needs out of fear of failing to satisfy their narcissistic partner. As a result, they may have to spend their lives worrying about what the other person thinks and does. If you live with a narcissist, you will surely have to conform to their icy world and feel emotionally abandoned. Soon, you will begin to doubt yourself and see your self-confidence fade. If you express your discontent with this, your narcissistic spouse will interpret it as an assault and make you feel awful for saying it. If you're wondering why these people stay in these relationships, it's because when a narcissist is confronted with a breakup, they will go to any length to retain the relationship that is so important to them. However, these people will eventually grow emotionally weary from these types of connections because they limit their options and increase the possibility of their weaknesses being exposed. They may be forced to confront their genuine selves and the realities of their inner worlds, which they despise. As I already stated, these people did not choose this, but life is really difficult for them. As a result, it is critical to recognize that if you notice these signs in yourself, it is time to address the issue. It is impossible to do this alone, so it is critical to get expert assistance as soon as possible and apply solutions that will greatly simplify your life. If you or someone you know exhibits these symptoms, it is critical to recognize that you are not to blame and that it is a serious mental condition. This individual requires assistance and must be guided, whether they are your spouse, parent, or friend. Also, keep in mind that there is no guilty party. Nonetheless, in circumstances where guilt is overwhelming, the basis of the problem is often deep-seated, originating in the family, upbringing, or surroundings. These tragedies have the power to transform us into people we are not. As a result, rather than blaming ourselves or our surroundings, it is critical to confront the people or circumstances that are causing the problem. Whatever the difficulty, accepting these things brings us one step closer to a solution. The most important thing is to look after yourself and your health. I know that as valuable supporters of science, you can help us take our channel to new heights by using the like button and Patreon. Thank you for being here. As always, till we meet again. Best regards.